Hey everybody, it's Trevin. I'm here to talk to you about where the Stop the Violence movement came from and why hip hop is so important. All right, the Stop the Violence movement came from artist back in the 80s by the name of KRS-One, and he was the founder of Boogie Down Productions, a hip hop company that was back in the day. And what he did was he started a movement called Stop the Violence through a song called Self Destruction. The reason why this song came was because he was at a show in the late 80s with Public Enemy. They were in the Bronx, New York. And what ended up happening was there was a young man at a show that got stabbed and killed for his gold chain. So what ended up happening is it sparked KRS-One in a different way, because a few months previous to that, he had a friend that he actually started Boogie Down Productions with who actually passed away from black on black crime. So what he decided to do was he wanted to push a message forward so that these killings, senseless killings, stop happening. So what he started to do was to stop the violence movement. The way he did that was through his voice and his power, which he had in hip hop. So he reached out to a bunch of various different artists such as Dougie Fresh, MC Lyte, Heavy D, Public Enemy. A lot of these individuals who were very, very competitive and big in hip hop. You know, some of those names, some of you all haven't listened to them before, but you know who they are. So he asked all these individuals to come together to make a collective song that everybody got about a few seconds on. And what it was to just promote positivity into the community. So that's what he did. He actually did a documentary behind that movie, and the song he actually started was Self Destruction. It was about 10 minutes long. It had a bunch of various artists on it. He filmed it all throughout the Bronx and New York. And what that message was to do was to show the black community that you can still be united, still do what you need to do, but you don't have to kill each other. All right. So what ended up happening is he went out and he reached out to a bunch of these various artists, and they all accepted. So when they came back, they all wrote their piece, and they put the song down. Well, after they put the song down, he decided to make a video behind it, where the documentary came from, or the purpose of the video. So the video took a while, and it was pretty challenging for him to initially, because in hip hop is very competitive. But what he actually did was he had to sit down with a lot of them, told them what the message was, and everybody agreed. And so what they did was they made the documentary Self-Destruction. Self-Destruction was basically a song about why individuals in the African community, African-American community were killing each other. He just wanted it to stop. At that time when he made that video, the crime rate for African-Americans with violence was 7 times higher than the next race. So he said he had to put a stop to it. So he got everybody together. They all came in one by one, and they did the video and they did the song. And to his success, the song actually debuted at #1 for the next 10 weeks. He actually gave a lot of his proceeds, to the to the Urban Conditions Among Negroes, which is basically a civil rights company, or not a civil rights company, but a civil rights program that they gave 100% of the proceeds to, so that they can help out African Americans, so that they don't have to turn to crime to get, the necessary help that they needed. So after he did all this, time went by. Nobody really knew what it was going to do, but it was very successful and a staple mark in hip hop history. Years later on down the road, he inspired a lot of artists that we listen to today, such as Common, Chance the Rapper, even Mos Def. And what those individuals did was they used their platform and they did the best with it. So, with this is my reasoning on hip hop and why that artist was important. He took a movement. He stopped violence in that community. The crime rate came down so much, and it's still dropping over the past 20 years. So what I have to say is, don't knock the hip hop, give it a chance, but use your voice in a positive manner. You can't judge a book by its cover, but you do have to read that book, and that book has to be good. So everybody out here that's an artist, or anybody that's trying to create their craft, use it to the best of your ability. Make it positive. All right. I hope you learned something from this speech, and I hope to see you soon.